Hi, this is Julia. I'm here to share my journey of how God healed me of osteopenia. I'm going to share my story from the beginning so you can understand the kind of mindset and lifestyle choices that got me to the point of having osteopenia at the age of 33. I just remember feeling like I was 93 years old, and it was very hard for me to celebrate that birthday. And not only was I extremely fatigued, I was very irritable. I couldn't sleep at night. My emotions were really high and really low. I just was in a very depressed state. Life felt dark for me at that time. I was aching everywhere. My back really hurt, my hip really hurt, and my hair was falling out a lot. So I have I had at the time very long hair. And I just remember the drains in our condo unit just constantly getting clogged, my vacuum cleaner getting clogged, and it being a real problem after a while. So at first when it was happening, I thought maybe, women, our hair sheds at certain times of the year. So I thought maybe that might be the issue, and I put that aside. But then it just kept happening, and it was getting worse to the degree that I had lost the volume of half my hair. And by then I was mortified and really scared, like what is happening to my body? So as you know, my husband's a fitness enthusiast. He's very into integrated health and healing. So he was really concerned as well. So he was like, we need to go to the doctor and we need to get your back tested. We need to do a DEXA bone scan on you. And we told my doctor this is what we'd like to do, and he was against it because I was so young. He said, there's no reason for you to take this bone scan, and insurance probably won't cover it. And he just advocated for me to get it. He said, listen, she's got Asian descent in her. She is underweight. She has a family history of this, and she's really not feeling like herself. She's all these health issues. We need to check this off the list and make sure that this is not an issue that we're dealing with. So finally, eventually, the doctor complied and said, yes, we will do a DEXA bone scan. And sure enough, when the scan came back, I was diagnosed with osteopenia in my lower back and my hips. So of course, I was devastated. It felt really hopeless because I was so young. Why would I have literally a health issue for the elderly? So I was sent home with a prescription for a medication meant for elderly people for bone issues. And I had an option to take this once a year dosage or like once every month dosage. The doctor told me to gain 20 pounds and to also include calcium citrate supplements. So I went home from that doctor appointment extremely depressed because if you know my history, I used to be a swimsuit model. So I'll have to just rewind and kind of give you a little background of how my body got to be to this point. So in order to maintain my figure, I did certain things diet-wise and exercise-wise that would keep me in swimsuit condition to keep working. That it just included a very severe exercise regimen. So sometimes I would work out twice a day and be running for a couple of hours a day. I learned later on that this was horrible for my hormones. I also was eating a very nutrient deficient diet. So I ate a lot of vegetables, a lot of celery and spinach and all these healthy things, but I wasn't incorporating good healthy fats, a lot of extra protein for all that running. So I was depleting my body with all the exercise that I was doing. I was just draining my body of all the minerals and nutrients it needed to do well. So temporarily, this got me the weight loss, and it got me bookings. I was losing weight, and the more weight that I would lose, I would get more jobs. So to me, I was almost encouraged subconsciously to stick with the routine that was working for me. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit to getting that diagnosis and getting sent home with this medication. I was really depressed at the idea of gaining 20 pounds. For somebody like me, I'm 4'11". This was devastating because my whole identity was wrapped up in being a swimsuit model and having a certain type of figure and getting a lot of validation from that. And I know, logically speaking, that's not where a woman's value is, but when you've been told this and feeling this and paid for this value, and now all of a sudden you're told that you have to gain 20 pounds, it really rocks your identity. So I went into an even further depression. And my husband felt awful because the cure that would supposedly help me would actually destroy my self-worth at the same time. So he was like, I don't think this is going to jive with the way that Julia is. And also too, for my frame, gaining 20 pounds logically just didn't make sense to him either. He said that can't be the only solution. So I went home and started taking this medication. Within 3 days of taking the medication, I was aching everywhere. I just remember my joints hurting. So not only was my back hurting and my hips hurting, like when I went to the doctor, that was what was hurting. My skin was hurting. My joints were hurting. Things that I didn't even know I had were hurting. Just everything hurt. My hair hurt. I was just very sensitive to the light, to the sun. Everything was painful for me. And so I started to retreat in even more of a depression because the solution was actually making things worse. And then after a certain amount of time, I noticed that my jaw was really sore and it was hurting. And I started complaining like, wow, I'm getting this incredible pain in my jaw. And so that's when John said, okay, we're done with this. So John had read the side effects that could happen for somebody taking this medication over a long period of time. And he knew that there was a chance that my jaw could start rotting away. That was one of the side effects. And so because I was complaining about this pain, he said, absolutely, you need to get off of this. Well, I am so thankful that I'm married to a genius because John is so creative. He really thought outside of the box. And one day he just came up to me and said, well, the number one thing we need to work on is your mindset. The way that you think about food is really what got you in this problem to begin with. You are over-exercising. I've been telling you this since day one. So when John and I had met, both of us were models, and I was just doing things my way. And he is not just a model, but he's also a certified personal trainer, and he got a degree in exercise physiology and a minor in nutrition. So he knows about the human body, like, very well. I only knew what worked for me diet-wise as a model that would just like pick up a magazine and read about what the latest supermodel was doing to lose weight. So this was not the same kind of education background. So he was making really good choices and he had a reason for his choices. And I was just slapping together a plan as best as I could just from the inspiration of people that I admired. And that was not a strategic plan. John was talking to me about the mindset and how I needed to think about food in a different kind of way. I'll get into that a little bit later on in this video, but I'm just going to start addressing what he did for the pain that I was in. Because he knew how important it was for my skeletal system to be stimulated to create bone tissue. So John came up with a brilliant plan on how to circumvent me gaining 20 pounds. He said, why don't we trick your body? Why don't we trick your body into thinking that it's gained 20 pounds? I want you to wear this weighted vest. So every day I would wear this weighted vest and we would increase the amount of weight that was put on my body so it didn't shock my system. And I eventually went up to, I think, 25 or 30 pounds of weights on my body. I added even more than what the doctor had recommended. And at first when I started doing this weighted vest thing, I thought that it would hurt to put it on because my back hurt so bad. And actually the opposite happened. The more I wore this vest, doing my chores, walking up and down the stairs, carrying the laundry basket, I was feeling better and better and stronger every day. It was incredible. I was kind of shocked at how much better I felt instantly, right away from wearing this weighted vest. So I knew John was onto something with this. I was also taking the calcium citrate that my doctor had recommended, but we were going back to the doctor and getting my calcium levels tested to see if my body was actually absorbing this calcium. John was really on it with this. He wanted to make sure that not only was I doing the right thing, but that my body was receiving the right things. And every single time we went to get tested, my calcium levels did not budge. And we switched different brands and we tried different products, and nothing seemed to work. Nothing seemed to work when it came to the supplements. So John said, I think your body is craving real food. You need to start really changing your diet. I wanted the easy way, like, let's take a pill, let's just get this done. I don't want anything else to change in my life. I just want to move on quickly. And he said, no, I think that you need to do things the right way. And that's going to take a little bit longer, and you're going to have to learn your bad mindsets and your bad habits, but it's also going to create a whole new lifestyle for you. And that's what really needs to change. So in place of the calcium citrate supplements, John decided that Greek yogurt is a really great source of probiotics, and it was a great balance of nutrients in there. My body could probably absorb something like that much easier. From the studies that he read, he thought this would be a great regimen in conjunction with supplements that would help my body absorb the calcium. So that meant magnesium glycinate, boron, phosphorus. He also did some creative things like having me add lemon onto my spinach and leafy greens, because there's a thing called oxalic acid that kind of blocks your absorption of calcium if you don't put the lemon on there. So I can't really explain it all, and we actually wrote an article about it so you can get all the technical details of why this works and how this works. I'm just a novice listening to my husband, just going, okay, I need to put lemon, I'll do that. And during this time, the doctor also diagnosed me with extreme low levels of vitamin D. So he had put me on a very high dosage of vitamin D. And because the vitamin D is kind of seen in your body as a hormone, John is very conscientious about overtaxing your body's system. So any hormone dump is never a good thing. So he said, we're not going to overdump this on your system. We're not going to give you I think it was 50,000, don't quote me on it, IUs of vitamin D, not in one pill. We're not going to do that. We're going to split it up, and you're going to do daily dosages. We're going to make sure that you get your 50,000 IUs, but we're going to do it like over the week, a little bit every day. And so that was his way of handling it. John, I love his way of treating the body very respectfully, and not just saying, well, let's just dump a bunch of this and see what happens. He's like, I don't want to throw your hormones off, so we're going to do this in a gentler way. Of course, my husband highly recommended I would do weight-bearing activities. And although I've been working out since I was probably 14 or 15 years old every day, it's just part of who I am. I've always been a person that's maintained physical activity. I've never really enjoyed weight-bearing activity because in my head, I thought that muscles look great on men, but I really prefer that lean, long model physique for me. That's what I like. I'm petite, but I also have an athletic build. So I would prefer to be like slim. I'm like, if I start biking, my legs can get really big, and I just didn't prefer that look for myself. So I was a little scared of getting bulky, and he just reminded me, I want you to think about exercise and weight training very differently than you've ever thought. And so he's like, let's just take this one body part at a time. But what we need to do is we need to trick your bones by stressing them out to the degree that they're so stressed out that they have to build and lay down bone tissue. And so we just started doing heavy weights. For me, mentally, I had to reframe the way that I viewed muscle and muscle building. And instead of thinking that muscle is for men, I literally had to tell myself the truth is muscle is the matter that shapes the human form. So it's underneath it's above our skeletal system, but it actually creates the shape of a woman. It's not a masculine thing or a feminine thing to have muscle. It's a human thing to have muscle. For the foundation of a healthy figure, for longevity, for your metabolism, for your immune system, in both males and females, muscle is so important. So instead of looking at muscle as if having a lot of it would be a male thing, I really needed to strip my old ways of thinking and replace it with something healthier that would support the choices that I needed to start making. John also had me really reflect on everything I was taking into my body. He stressed that it wasn't so much what I added to my diet, but what I also took out of my diet as well. So I began to ask myself the questions: what is the purpose of this food? Will it build me or will it destroy me? And there were certain things that I knew that I needed to take out of my diet. The number one thing that was really hard for me to remove was my Diet Coke habit. I worked at a bar late at night, so I didn't just do modeling. I also worked at a bar late at night, and I would have to stay up till sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning. And the way I would fuel that was with Diet Coke. And that served me well for that job, but what it did to my adrenal glands and what it did to my calcium levels was horrible. There's an ingredient called phosphoric acid that messes up your calcium levels, where you're not able to absorb calcium. If you drink Diet Coke, and if that's a huge habit for you, you could actually weaken your bones. So I knew that this habit had to go. That was really hard for me. But I had to replace it with something that would actually build my body. And I began to train myself to like hot lemon water. And as I explained earlier, the lemon was really important for me to incorporate into my diet because that has a lot to do with your calcium. Again, these are not quick and easy things. These are lifestyle choices, and I bucked up hard against them. So if any of you are struggling with having to make choices that will give your life a better quality, I understand. We all want that immediate fix. We want to feel good right now. And the Diet Coke, that's going to make us feel great right now. We're going to get our caffeine hit. We're going to be able to do more during the day. But at the end of the day, we have to see these little habits that we make every day add up tremendously. And so if they are going to tear down our longevity and the quality of our life, we have to think of them as the enemy. And that's how I began to look at Diet Coke, as the enemy. This is not my friend. It feels like a friend because it's so good in the moment, but it's actually not my friend. Another habit for maintaining my health was reducing my stress levels and really prioritizing my sleep. The truth is, most women cannot afford the cortisol surge of not getting enough sleep. Our bodies are very connected to our sleep levels. I believe that men are designed to be able to burn the fuel a little bit better. For some reason, most of my friends need about 8 hours of sleep at least. Our bodies are a little bit more finely tuned, and it takes us a little longer to repair. There's a lot going on with us. So we need to honor the fact that our bodies need to rest a little bit more than men. And instead of trying to push things through and see ourselves like, well, I can do what a man can do, and we have to take that reality that our systems are built completely different, and women need more rest. For me personally, I've been learning to lean on the Holy Spirit to give me the strength and the courage to set proper boundaries and to not move out of fear and obligation or guilt, and just give myself permission to say no. I love people, but one of my worst qualities, I think, is being a people pleaser. And this is the number one thing I think that can destroy a person, is if you're constantly giving out energy that you don't have to please people who there's just an endless demand for them to be pleased. Then you're constantly giving your energy away, and then you have nothing for yourself. Nothing to give your husband, nothing to give your family, nothing to build your actual home, because you're so busy giving all of that good stuff away. For me, this doesn't mean saying no to everything. Of course, I want to do a lot more than I actually am able to do. I just had to give myself permission to say, I love this person. I'm going to have to say no to this invitation, because even though it would feel good to say yes in this moment, I think overall this would not be good for overtaxing my schedule. This would just weigh me down and stress me out, where I wouldn't be able to really fully enjoy it and be in the moment. So I had to tell myself, life is more about enjoying the moments and being present in the present moment. It's not about running around and making yourself frantic, trying to go to every party, trying to answer everything and do all these things to make everybody happy, and that's not a full life. I'm also honoring the way that my nervous system works. I'm giving myself time to truly relax and enjoy the life that I have. I'm giving myself grace to learn and see and experience life from a more peaceful perspective. So one of the biggest issues that I had with making all these changes was with trust. I learned early in life that if I was not in control, that things would quickly spin out of control. So I learned to just be a survivor. Okay, we're gonna do this. I need to lose this weight, this is what I need to do. And just power through it and just make it happen. And that worked until it stopped working. And when it stopped working, I didn't know what to do, because that is how I've always done life. I've always just powered through it, tried to figure it out. And I believe that my health crash and the condition that my body was in and the state that my mind was in such a state that I was completely humbled enough to finally learn a new way. And I hope if you're watching this video and you are struggling with a certain health issue, that you will just breathe and give yourself a break and give yourself grace to learn that there's always a better way that you can do it. So I had to ask myself some really hard questions. Did I really think that all I had to offer the world was being skinny? Is my ultimate desire to be skinny? You know, skeletons are skinny. What I really wanted was to be healthy and vibrant and beautiful and joyful. And skinny was what I thought would get me those things. Well, skinny is not necessarily healthy. And I want to be healthy. So this prompted me to redefine what I thought beautiful meant for me. Today, I don't believe that being beautiful means being the perfect weight. To me, being beautiful means being confident, satisfied in the present moment, enjoying healthy skin, hair, and teeth. It's about having youthful posture, stamina, strength, and endurance, flexible movement. It's about embracing imperfect ways that I connect with others. When I'm healthy, I can be funny, compassionate, and empathetic. But when I am not healthy, I only think about myself and what I'm missing out on. None of these aspects of beauty can be embodied if I focus on my weight being perfect. And this reduces the quality of my existence. It creates a very shallow, closed off world that I actually don't enjoy living in. When John wanted to change my diet, I struggled hard with letting go of what I knew, because I was so used to other models and friends sabotaging my goals. So I didn't trust anyone that would come alongside me and say, hey, you should probably do this way, because I was so used to people trying to sabotage my success. I didn't recognize that maybe this person actually had my back. So I had to ask myself, do I really believe that my husband would risk his professional reputation and his personal relationship with me to make me fat? I had to really think about that, because when he was trying to change my diet, those are the thoughts that were going through my mind. Oh my gosh, he's gonna make me fat. I'm gonna gain so much weight. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. My mind would just spiral into this negative place. And I had to stop myself and literally ask, do I think this is what his intention is? Of course, my logical mind stepped in and was like, no, Don's not gonna ruin his marriage or his professional reputation to make you fat. There's no agenda there for that. But it was my emotional history that was so damaged and warped that it was very hard for me to see things in this way unless I stopped and really asked those questions. The truth is, God was supplying so many amazing resources to me, but I just wasn't seeing them because I was so stubborn of doing things my way. You know, wisdom is accepting the fact that you don't know it all. It's also about having enough humility to accept this, and then the faith to lean on the right people, and this takes courage. You know, God did not create us to heal by ourselves. He's brought people that are better at certain things, and we are supposed to heal in a community setting. I don't believe anyone could truly heal in the privacy of their own home. I believe human connection is just part of the healing process. So here's my advice for anyone going through a healing crisis. Number one, take responsibility for where you are right now, because you're the only one that can make a difference in your life. And don't play the victim and don't blame your parents. Well, this is how I was raised. You are an adult and you can make choices, and you can make better choices. Number two is work through your issues fearlessly. Face the truth. When you face the truth, you give yourself the power to move past your blockages. Just suppressing, like, I don't want to change, no, this is the way it is, it's almost denying yourself the opportunity for real change. So facing the truth and being that hard coach for yourself is so important. Number three, hire trusted professionals that align with your values. And then number four is you have to relax and trust the process. So what I did with John, he didn't know this, but mentally I told myself, okay, I'm going to give him 6 weeks. If I don't feel better or look better in 6 weeks, I'm going back to my way. I didn't tell him that, but I did that. And I truly, truly listened to him. For 6 solid weeks, I did everything he told me. And guess what? After that 6 weeks was over, I was feeling so much better. My hair was looking better. My skin was looking better. The dark circles under my eyes were going away. And I never looked back. Now I know because I tested it and it worked. So if you're living in fear and you want change, but you're not willing to 100% trust the process, then you'll never really see if that change is possible. So trust is really important. Number 5, give yourself grace to embrace the changes. A lot of change is really hard for some people. So if you stumble a little bit, if it's uncomfortable, if you're feeling moody, give yourself grace, because that's part of the process of doing things a new way. It's uncomfortable, but it's a growing pain. It's a stretching pain. It's a good pain. It's going to lead to good things. Number 6, keep your eye on the end goal. Health is not about perfection. It's about longevity and harmony and peace of mind, body, and spirit. It incorporates everything. Number 7, celebrate those small victories. I feel like this is such an important thing. When you celebrate those small victories, you're giving your body that serotonin hit it needs. And you need that to encourage yourself to keep going on and keep making better choices. A lot of people bypass this because they have such a large goal. They are like, well, I want to lose 100 pounds and I've lost 20 pounds, but I got 80 pounds to go. That's so much. No, you can't do that. You really need it. Your body, your mind actually needs that serotonin hit to keep going forward. So find really creative ways to celebrate your victories. And of course, if you are struggling in the area with food, maybe food isn't the way to reward yourself, but maybe it is. Maybe it would be like a healthy food, healthy something, whatever it is that would make the most sense for your lifestyle, and that would encourage you to keep going on with this lifestyle, do that. And just keep in mind that life is about moments. Be present. Enjoy the journey. If you don't enjoy the journey, you're actually wasting your whole life. Think about that. It will get better if you don't drop the ball on yourself. This is not the content that I normally produce. If you're on John's page, I wanted to share my story with you. I wish you all the best of health.